Hello and welcome to EFD, where today we're looking at 10 academy stars PSG foolishly let slip through their fingers. 10. Kingsley Coman. In a study by the CIES Football Observatory last year, only Real Madrid and Barcelona had more academy grads playing in Europe's top 5 leagues than PSG, and yet almost none of those actually play for PSG. And the poster boy for that problem is surely Kingsley Coman, who joined the side at 8 and became their youngest senior player ever in 2013. With a contract expiring the next year, the club should have shown their faith in the wide man. But with Javier Pastore, Lucas Moura and Ezequiel Lavezzi in the squad, Laurent Blanc sided with his €112 million stars and Coman jumped ship at 18, though already with a brace of hometown titles. A year in Italy yielded another domestic championship, and then came Bayern Munich, for whom Coman has made 250 appearances. Though injuries have stifled his development, the winger only twice starting more than 20 league games in a season and never hitting 10 league goals, he's lifted another 18 trophies, and amazingly across 3 divisions has never ended a campaign without winning a title, while at international level he's earned 46 caps. That's more than Eric Cantona ever did. To rub salt in the wound, Coman scored the only goal in PSG's Champions League final loss back in 2020, and at 26, he has plenty of time to add further accolades to an already stacked CV. 9. Maignan. Given that PSG have Gianluigi Donnarumma between the sticks, a European champion, goalkeeper of the season in his last 3 campaigns, and yet to turn 25, it's hard for them to regret the loss of Maignan. But the Milan stopper, who was with PSG between the ages of 14 and 20, could well have made the Italian signing unnecessary, himself boasting 2 titles and becoming a France regular over the last 3 years. Maignan exited the French capital for just €1 million in 2015 to join Lille, who later also took Jonathan Ikone and Timothy Weah from PSG's youth setup. And by the time he was 22, he was the first choice stopper under Marcelo Bielsa. The first season was pretty rough, as the side only scraped to 17th place, but the following year he saved 6 goals more than XG predicted to help the club up to 2nd, with the best defensive record in the division before delivering a shock title to Northern France in 2021, beating his boyhood club by a point. Across his whole spell with Lille, Maignan allowed just 146 goals in 149 games, kept a clean sheet in over a third of his appearances, and humbled the super club which let him go. After recently adding the Scudetto to that list of accolades, he'll have no regrets about leaving, even if PSG do. 8. Patrice Evra. While the Qatari leadership's desire for glamour is easy to blame for most of PSG's bad sales, they weren't immune to this in the past as well. Back in 1993, a 12-year-old Patrice Evra was signed for the club's academy side after impressing for his hometown. Originally a striker, PSG played him on the wing, but there was always doubts over his physicality, and ultimately the capital club cut him, agreeing with Toulouse, Lens and Rennes that he was too small for the pros. Not to be disheartened, Evra moved into midfield and finally got his break in the 3rd tier of Italian football, playing for Marsala and Monza before eventually returning to France, and the centre forward spot as well with Nice. It was only when Evra was 20 that he moved to left back, filling in for an injured teammate against Laval and subsequently making the spot his own, earning a place in Ligue 2's Team of the Year, and eventually switches to Monaco and then Manchester United. Evra ended up playing in 5 Champions League finals, winning 1, won 7 domestic titles, picked up 81 caps for France, and was named in his league's Team of the Year another 4 times. It took PSG until 2019 to have played more Champions League games than the man they let go. 7. Arnau KALIMUENDO. PSG have barely had time to miss Arnau KALIMUENDO. The forward only left PSG permanently in 2022, heading to Rennes for €20 million after a decade in the capital. Promoted to PSG's under-19s at just 16 by Thiago Motta, the striker used loan spells to gain experience, racking up 60 league games in 2 years with Lens, and his 19 goals in that spell got him the number 9 shirt for the Rouge et Noir, the 4th youngest team in France. A true striker under Bruno Genesio, KALIMUENDO is coming on nicely, improving his XG, defensive work rate and shot locations, while he's gone from under 4 touches in the box per game to 5, and receives over 9 progressive passes each match, crucial skills for the modern attacker, and in the case of the latter, placing him among the game's elite outlets, reeling in a forward pass from a teammate more often than the likes of Gabriel Jesus. Having turned down a lead switch in August, KALIMUENDO seems happy to take his time developing, and he has a coach to guide him who made the likes of Aouar, Umtiti, Ndombele, Lacazette and Tolisso famous. Let's see what they can do together. 6. Tanguy NIANZOU. It may be almost impossible to earn an attacking spot at PSG, but defence is a little better. Academy grad Presnel Kimpembe has made over 200 appearances, whilst more recently Bitshiabu and Pembele have received game time. But the missed opportunity was Tanguy NIANZOU. Born an hour from the Parc des Princes and PSG's Under-19s Player of the Year in 2019 at only 17. NIANZOU was given his debut by Thomas Tuchel and even became PSG's youngest ever Champions League player, but limited opportunities saw him run down his deal and move to Bayern, where competition was just as fierce and injuries stifled his progress. But now at Sevilla, the youngster is one of just 5 centre-backs under 21 to have played 1,000 minutes in a top 5 league this term, and once again is showing his mettle. He wins 78% of the tackles he attempts, that's better than Thiago Silva. He completes 4.5 progressive passes per game, that's the same as Rodrigo Bentancur, and he's in the top 10% of players for aerial duel success, coming out on top 71% of the time. Already good and frighteningly young, NIANZOU is a French international in waiting and one of the game's most promising defenders. With PSG's backline conceding more goals for the 4th successive league campaign, his loss has gotta hurt. 5. Ferland Mendy. A recurring theme on this list is not just PSG losing a star, but making a rival rich in the process, and Ferland Mendy is one such case. The left back joined PSG at 9 and left at 17, making the Ligue 1 team of the season in both his senior campaigns at Lyon before a €50 million move to Real Madrid in 2019, where after initially struggling to unseat Marcelo, he's now a first team regular. In 4 years in Spain, Mendy has won 6 trophies, including 2 titles and a Champions League, and when he's fit, he's an impressive all-rounder, ranking in the top 15% of fullbacks last year for progressive carries, progressive passes, creating shots, dribbling, and getting into the box, while he also makes the top 5% for tackle success. Meanwhile, PSG have struggled badly in his position, only now finding Nuno Mendes to fill the slot, having tried 9 different players there over the last 3 campaigns and spending €98 million on the position since 2017. Money may seem like no object to the QIA, but if they kept guys like Mendy, they wouldn't have ended up reliant on the likes of Danilo Pereira, and they might well have more Champions League success by now. 4. Matteo Guendouzi. Matteo Guendouzi may not seem like the biggest loss to PSG. After all, the club have already been through the mill with another floppy-haired, difficult to live with midfielder in the form of Adrien Rabiot. But the former Arsenal man remains a talent on the up, and embarrassingly for the capital side was one of 4 PSG academy grads to make France's World Cup squad, compared to 1 current Parc des Princes star earning a seat on the plane, and he cost them €180 million. Guendouzi turns 24 later this month, and though his attitude issues mean that he's already featured for 4 different teams, his production is pretty consistent. The Frenchman has averaged 7.6 progressive passes a game across his career, context enough to rank him 11th in the Prem this season. And while his defensive output has declined since moving from that 6th role at Arsenal to the 8 at Marseille, he's compensated with improved attacking presence. He now rates in the top 10% of midfielders for outlet passes received and the top 20% for touches in the opposition box. With players like Wijnaldum, Herrera and Gay all seeing significant minutes for the French champions over the last few years, it's hard to argue that game time wouldn't have been better invested in Guendouzi. 3. Moussa Diaby. Moussa Diaby is currently rated as the 10th most valuable right winger in the world, just ahead of some guy called Lionel Messi. Now, this isn't us claiming that Moussa Diaby is better than Lionel Messi, but he's undeniably excelled in the 4 years since leaving PSG. And with links to Arsenal and Newcastle in the press, he'll surely bring Bayer Leverkusen at least 3 times the €15 million they paid for his services. Blessed with lightning speed, Diaby has 52 goals and assists in his last 84 starts for Leverkusen, and has improved his XG for the 3rd consecutive season, now standing at 0.6 per 90, the same as Kane and Bruno Fernandes this term. Though he's only 5'6", the Frenchman is deceptively strong on the ball, and he's managed to dribble into the box more often this campaign, whilst getting dispossessed less. That's a pretty good sign for suitors. He's even pretty two-footed, taking a quarter of his shots with his weaker right, and can therefore cover both flanks, a help in justifying a bumper fee. With his contract up in 2025, it looks like this summer could well be the one for Leverkusen to cash in, and this young talent could be good enough to go anywhere. 2. Christopher Nkunku. When your front line is Mbappe, Messi and Neymar, you probably don't miss the forward you sold to RB Leipzig, but PSG's reliance on foreign stars is a real problem. The team was meant to improve Qatari standing in football, and while that was a success as the takeover bid for Manchester United and Nasser Al-Khelaifi's chairmanship of the European Club Association show, they haven't energised the Parisian fan base in the way they might have hoped. 25 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues boast an average higher attendance than PSG this term, including rivals Lyon, and more homegrown stars could well help fix that. One such name is the all-action forward that's on the verge of joining Chelsea, Christopher Nkunku. PSG's forwards are often derided for their off-the-ball work, and Nkunku could well have helped there, closing down opponents more often than any Parisian attacker and contesting more aerial duels, with the versatility to play on either side or through the middle, and a staggering goal record, delivering an incredible 76 strikes and assists in 86 starts since his switch to Germany. That move bought PSG just €13 million, only a fifth of the expected fee Chelsea are rumoured to have agreed for the attacker. Even if he'd become a regular, seeing a bag that size left on the table has to hurt the Parisians. 1. Xavi Simons. He may not have the medals of Coman or the record of Maignan, but of all the players on our list, one of the most missed in the current PSG team is Xavi Simons. Educated in both PSG and Barcelona's academies, the Dutchman, who can play in either attacking midfield or on the wing, is now a regular for PSV at 19, and is currently top scorer in the Eredivisie from his deep position. At the time of writing, Ajax and Feyenoord stand between PSV and the title, but Simons has arguably been the league's outstanding player, delivering 19 goal involvements in 26 appearances for one every 113 minutes. But that's not all. He's an outstanding dribbler, with over 2 take-ons a game, above average in defence, and with an eye for a killer ball. Simons combines all the strengths of Dutch, Spanish and French football, and with Pereira, Vitinha and Verratti, PSG's most used midfield combination this season, a creative spark might not go amiss. Those 3 players have combined for just 3 goal contributions in Ligue 1. PSG, though, can yet correct this mistake. They retain a buyback on Simons active this summer. It's not too late to capitalise on the quality they produce, and with an ageing core, it's surely a good time to start. So that was our list of 10 Academy stars that PSG are regretting letting go. If we've missed anyone out, let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you later.